Well, good afternoon, guys. Yeah, Tiny Table Wargames here. Been quite some time since I released a video, to be fair. I've not had the best 18 months. Um, Things kind of went downhill, so all my 15 and 10mm fantasy stuff has had to be sold at the time being. Um, so yeah, as you can see on the desk at the moment, we've got a couple of 15mm World War II miniatures. Now, I've gone World War II miniatures due to storage and a couple of other things. Um, Obviously, the home dynamics change, but you guys don't really need to fuss about that too much at the moment. Well, yeah, I, I just won't go into too many details. Anyway, I think it's pretty good to be back. It's good to be sat at a desk again and doing a little bit of modelling here and there, and just keeping myself going over this lockdown period. Um, Finally managed to get myself out of my slumber and decide to do my own little thing. So the projects we've got at the moment are some World War II Germans by Battlefront. So for Flames of War, that's going to be my next sort of big project, and that's going to be in regards to the upcoming videos. So the idea of what I plan on doing at the moment is to create a bunch of videos. So maybe once a week I'll do a build with me video. Maybe once a week I'll do maybe a painting with me video. Um, So it depends really. I mean, I know today is a Saturday. That will not be my regular upload day. I just figured I'd sort of post this just to let people know of what's actually going on today, and how I plan on taking the channel forward from now on. Obviously, I do plan on continuing it with the channel and keeping it going as usual, but obviously with situations being the past 12 months, past 18 months, it's been a little bit more difficult. It's good to be back. It's nice to have a few models that I'm able to sort of showcase while I'm painting and whatnot, and just keep things going. So I just figured I'd do a quick 10-minute video today and just do a little bit of painting and just have a bit of fun and sort of get the channel back up and running again, because the channel's not been dead. The channel's not sort of died off. It has stagnated quite a lot from my videos, but the views have been pretty consistent from people searching it. Obviously, I am fully aware that a lot of people viewing the video. Don't mind me. I'm just shaking the paints. So quite a lot of the viewers have searched. So they've come from outside of Google. So it's been online. Some people have also searched for Google, searched YouTube itself for obviously fantasy miniatures. I know smaller scales seem to be becoming a bit more popular than they used to be. So the plan of this is, the original plan was to stick with fantasy if I could. Unfortunately, due to situations, it's cheaper for me to go World War II. And in a way, I kind of enjoy sort of the World War II side of things. I enjoy the history, I enjoy the research, I enjoy the time you can spend sort of learning about it and what everything, how everything happened, why it happened, and the digging into the politics and things like that. It's always a bit interesting. I mean, a lot of people go mad because it's the world we live in these days, but the politics is always the fun part, I think. So, oh, yeah, great thing to do within the first 5 minutes. So what I'm doing here is I've taken a 50-50 mix of buff with Vallejo's dark sand. Well, dark yellow, should I say, not dark sand. I've got Iraqi sand in there, that's probably why I explained that. But yeah, it's just a bit of a dry brush to highlight things and sort of get the top layers all nice. And obviously, as you can see, some of these are partly done, so I've done most of the washes for the base coats and things along them lines, just to give it a bit more. I mean, yet again, this video is a bit more spontaneous than I'm hoping to plan. Obviously, there will be updates on the. Possibly, I'm thinking Thursdays, maybe Fridays. Fridays may be a bit difficult because obviously, people want to spend time with the family and whatnot. It's the end of the week. People just want to chill out and do their own little hobby, and it's not a bad thing to do if you decide to put one of these videos on while you're painting or whatnot. And it's always pretty cool to do. I tend to do it in most cases. So I'm subscribed to a lot of hobby channels like Luke. Well, it's Geek Gaming Scenics, I believe now. It was Luke's APS. And no, just because our accents are pretty similar doesn't mean we're the same person. It is pretty cool that he's only down the road from me. Obviously, I'm located in West Yorkshire. But yeah, he's literally sort of like half an hour. But yeah, he's a fantastic channel to watch, and it's always cool to keep up on the modern terrain stuff. And and I'm looking forward to incorporate a lot of what he does into like my 15mm stuff when I start building scenery. Obviously, at the moment, I'm just focusing on getting the vehicles and stuff done and getting all the highlights done. I could probably do with putting a bit more paint on that, to be fair. Especially the Zimmerit, which for those of you that are pretty new to World War II or historical gaming, those of you who are a bit more sort of seasoned veterans, you'll understand what Zimmerit is if you've done World War II in the past. It's just a anti-magnetic coating to prevent the it was designed to prevent the Russians from planting magnetic bombs onto the side of the tanks, which was kind of redundant because the tank wheels were steel anyway. So they put Zimmerit on the turrets and the upper hulls and the superstructures, but they didn't really bother with the wheels. And anyone that knows anything about Tiger tanks, they weren't exactly well, Germans have never had anything that's been easy to work on in regards to motor vehicles, I suppose. But yeah, they had 3 sets of road tracks, three sets of road wheels, interlevered. So I suppose that was always fun for the German crews and kept them preoccupied when the transmissions weren't dying on them. But yeah, so obviously, as you can tell, some of these areas have already been pre-washed, and so now it's just a case of highlighting them and getting them ready for their camo paint job. The upper hull has already been done. Just give a couple of areas a quick brush over to see what's going on. But yeah, it seems to be there's a bit of a resurgence in the YouTube community, especially after the holidays have ended and whatnot. And there's a lot of YouTubers out there that are coming back, and there's a lot of YouTubers out there that have just come back from their time off. And I mean, I don't blame them, to be fair. They do a lot of hard work and they put a lot of time and effort into the community. So it just gives me that little bit of extra motivation to carry on doing this. All my videos are going to be recorded a lot. Well, I say recorded live. I'm not going to be doing voiceovers as such. So what you're hearing while I'm painting is what is actually happening, like on the screen. So it's I'm talking as I'm sort of hobbying. I prefer to do it that way. It's a bit more direct, a bit more personal. And it doesn't seem so sort of, well, it's not pre-recorded, is it really? So it's it's a bit more accurate to the current events and whatnot. And obviously it's pretty cool to looking at the Bagration stuff by Battlefront. That's going to be pretty interesting to look at. I'm thinking about ordering the box set, the German box set, once it releases. Obviously, I'll be doing one army at a time. So at the moment, my main focus is Germans. Next army, I'm thinking of either doing British or US. But if I do British, I'll probably do a mixture of Commonwealth. So there'll be some Australians in there as well as Canadians, and and with it being a late war, there might be a few Italians thrown in there somewhere. But for me, my enjoyment about the Germans is the big cats. So the tigers, the king tigers, the panther. Just dry brushing with a Winsor & Newton foundation brush. I picked them up from WH Smith's for like £3-4. Got like 4 or 5 brushes in a pack. And I mean, they do pretty well. They've lasted longer than the Wilkinson. £3 a pack for 15 brushes. But yeah, just figured it'd be something different, and the quality of the brushes is fantastic as well for the price. Right, I'll use my slightly smaller brush. I think they're the same size brush anyway. Oh no, one's a 4 and one's a 3. Oh, damn it, that one needs washing. But yeah, so this is a new technique. Well, I say it's a new technique. I'm pretty sure people that have brush camoed tanks previously have done this for a while. So yeah, it's just a case of sort of taking my design and sort of stippling it on. Obviously the Zimmerit does make them a bit more awkward to paint. So kind of stippling is pretty much the only option you've really got when it comes to the sides. Otherwise you don't get all the paint in there, as you can probably see from the lower side. And so the style, I've got two designs. So these ones are going to be more my hit. These ones are going to be more my sort of reinforcements. Obviously it's late war, so they're a bit newer, a bit less sort of worn out. These are, so that's one's going to be more of a sort of new reinforcement. The other one's going to be something that's been more out there and more field painted, and just a general bit more wear and tear and bits like that. But yeah, they're fantastic little models to paint, and obviously they are on the lighter side with them being so small. But that's where, you know, these little washers come into play that are glued into the bottom. Let's see if I've still got one on here. I should have. There it is. So yeah, I think they're just like 10mm washers. They're not bad. I think I got like 20 for £1.35. You can probably get them cheaper, but it's boys. It's, you know, it's cheap enough and it's local to where I live, so it's not too bad. But yeah, this so I just use this technique to get a bit of a design on there, and allows me to messy it up a fair bit and get the camo on. The famous tricolour camo that the German tanks were famous for. Obviously there will be some videos where some of my tanks do have iconography on them. I do apologise if that does eventually upset somebody, but unfortunately, you know, as much as there's a lot of people on this planet that would like to, we can't rewrite history, nor would I want to. You know, there's plenty of things throughout history that we do and don't like. You know, we can't just rewrite them because we disagree with what they did. So yeah, if there's any iconography on here, on these videos that you do find offensive, there's not much that I'm really going to be doing about that, because it is what it is. But yeah, I figured I'd just do this as a short and sweet video, so probably get a second part up to this at some point. Hopefully YouTube will allow me to upload a video this long. I'm not a big one for editing and things like that. I'm only using my phone at the moment, which is obviously a bit more awkward for editing and things. Once I can find some decent editing software for my phone, I'll probably edit the images a bit. I'd probably edit the videos a bit better, and you know, get things going again and whatnot. But just enjoying painting and recording and obviously talking about it. Yeah, I'm in a slightly smaller room as well, so the previous videos that I've done before on the Pendrac and stuff, that was done in my old dining room, which was quite a large room, so there was a lot of echo. Quite a large room with not a lot of furniture, so yeah, quite a large echo and things like that. This now I'm in a slightly smaller room with obviously not so much echo and bits and pieces. But yeah, so I'll just see where I can put this last one. I say last one, it's not going to be the last one, is it? But I'll put one up the back. And I honestly thought painting like this would have been quite difficult because I've never really painted on camera before, but it's not too off where I would normally paint, so it's more comfortable than I thought it would be. So just give some of these a quick brush over where it's a bit thinner. Go over that front bit there just to liven it up a little bit. I mean, my turret's going to be going over a fair portion of this, so there's a lot of area that doesn't really need doing, but it'll get done anyway. Suppose it's that modeller's peace of mind where it's, you know, for a fact no one's really going to see it, but you know it's there. Bit like doing the Games Workshop rhinos. You know, some people do the interiors of them. Some people end up gluing the door shut after they've done an amazing interior. And I just don't understand it, but I'll know it's there, so I'll know it's done, so I won't be too bothered about that. So what I'll do now, I'll take my little pop cap with a bit of blue tack on it, put that on the front, put that on the chassis, and then find out where on the front end do I need to add the paint to create the transition. Obviously then you've got that there, which will then go across. Then I can remove that, get some more paint. This is the Vallejo's Refractive Green. Yet again, boys. Although, no, to be fair, I think I got most of these from the box sets you can order online. So I think I got the Utilities one and the German armour. I got most of my infantry colours from boys. So yeah, as you can see there, and then I'll just transition it over this, which will carry on the transition and There we go. So as you can see there, that looks pretty solid. There was a little bit of a gap there by the tracks, but there's nothing a smaller brush can't fit in. Obviously just go around and splodge around the areas where it is, just to try and smooth it out a little bit. Try and keep a lot of that transition in over the tracks, well, over the wheel, should I say. Not so much the tracks, but try and keep a bit of camo design in there. Obviously most of that back wheel would be painted. Same with some of this front wheel. So just allow, I mean, this bit's a bit of a futile technique, because as you can see on my others, you know, you're not really going to be able to notice it once it's all completely and done. Once it's all complete and done, but you can still see a little bit of the brown, slightly a little bit of the green where the shape is and whatnot. But other than that, that's sort of the technique I'm going for, and that's going to be the kind of shade I'm looking for. So let's get the other side done. And then it's down to the same technique with the turret. So let's just stipple that on there to get that slightly done. But yeah, the past 12 months, past 18 months has been rather difficult for me. It's been a lot happened. If it hadn't have been for friends and family, you know, things could have gone a very, very different way. But yeah, back to the hobbying and back to doing things I enjoy. You know, trying to keep myself occupied during this lockdown period. So then yeah, so that's that bit done. There's a little shit bucket at the back. I'm not going to monetize these videos, so YouTube would probably flag me for that anyway. But yeah, it's the well-known bucket on the back of the Tigers that was common in just so many photos. But yeah, I mean, I think I've got this video to 25 minutes. So a little bit longer than I was expecting it to. I'm one of those painters. I don't blast through things and, you know, try and get them done in half an hour. I prefer to take my time with it and a bit of fun. But obviously, yeah, thank you for tuning in. This one's more of an update of how the channel's going to go. Obviously, the painting was just something to pass the time, so it didn't look like you were just staring at a blank screen. But yeah, hopefully you come back to help finish off the rest of this tank. That video should be up on Thursday. It'll either be I'm thinking either Thursday or Tuesday for painting, and possibly building for the alternate day. So if I do my painting on a Tuesday, I'll do a build on say a Thursday, or I could maybe build the model and review it on the Tuesday and then paint it on the Thursday. I don't know. I mean, I've got an awful lot of tanks to paint for this army. Obviously, I've got two Panzer IVs to finish with the Schutzen. That's one of the finished. It just needs all the dirt and things put in on the bottom, which I'll use. So like I use typhus corrosion for the exhausts, but then I'll use like Sterling mud. I'll use the typhus corrosion for the tracks and exhaust, and then I'll use like the Sterling mud to go over the tracks, and then obviously the bottom half of the hull and the superstructure. I will be doing a couple of review videos of these kits by Zvezda. I know there's a couple of other YouTubers that have done review kits on it, but there's a few details that I'd like to go into with the kits, and where there's a bit more errors that sort of haven't been sort of discussed. One of them is like the corner pieces where they overlap and things. But yeah, obviously I'd like to get this channel back up and running, get it going properly, and hopefully get some content out for you guys. I'll probably do it in like a season. So first season will be German, second season might be, British or American, depending on which way I go. Third season might be Soviets, depending on how things tick along and where things decide to go from there. Well, thank you for tuning in, guys. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Just give us a like and subscribe if possible. I know I don't really like the idea of begging for subscriptions and things like that, but obviously it'd be nice to get more subscribers out there and more people to share it, and just get the channel to grow a little bit, and just keep me a little sort of motivated to keep posting videos and things like that. The guys that did it previously did a fantastic job of helping sort of like keep the videos like coming and stuff. I know I've only got 7 or 8 done, but it's definitely something I enjoyed doing. Now I've got that little bit of extra free time due to this COVID lockdown and whatnot. But yeah, basic brushes. These Winsor & Newton foundation brushes are fantastic. For my more detailed brushes, I use Javis. So as you can see there, made in England. Can you really? Don't really want to zoom in, does it? There you go, Pure Sable, Javis. I think I pay like £3 a brush. This is my number 2. That's my number 3. And then I got this one. This one was made in Germany, I believe, but I don't know who the company's by. But it's Pure Sable, so they're pretty good brushes for what they are, and they're cheap and cheerful, so it keeps things going. Anyway, guys, thank you for viewing. Next video should be up on Tuesday. Thank you. Tiny Table Wargames out.